Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. It is Thursday the 21st of August 2025. My name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that's in the UK. Thank you for joining me this evening. Our stamp set of the week this week is Encircled with Love, and it features these fabulous circular designs, but I'm going to show you how we can pick out some of these elements from the circle and use those separately. And I'm going to do that using punches, but if you have, for example, our Stylish Shapes dies, or any of our circle dies, or your own dies that are concentric, then you can do exactly the same thing. You can also punch some of these out with shape dies. They don't have to be circular. If you caught my live on Monday, you will have seen me make this card and this card. I had to think which one I did on Monday. So this one here, I've just added the thank you, which I punched out with our punches, and a secret C layer behind. Hopefully you can see that matches the colour of the ink, and just place that on a piece that I then cut off. And then this one here, I've done a cutout from the centre of this one and laid it up again with a larger circle behind. This one I did at our coffee and card session on Tuesday, just as a sample to show how that was recreated. There are some absolutely fantastic samples on my Facebook page of the cards that were made on Tuesday, and I expect to see just as many fun examples tomorrow at Coffee and Card, and also on Monday. It is Bank Holiday Monday, so it's 50-50 whether that session will go ahead. It just depends on the numbers that are available to come along. So let's get cracking with something just slightly different today, not wildly. This is the stamps as stamped out, so they are just slightly bigger than you see on the case. And what I'm going to use today is this one here, and also this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp these and then punch out these centres and use that on some patterned paper with some background circular punches. So let's get started with stamping some of those. I'm going to use this as my backing. I saw this in my room the other day and I thought this is just so pretty for a backing, and I'm going to layer that onto a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and that will go onto a piece of white card, and I'll use the Blackberry Bliss to punch out some of the layers as well. Some of the colours in that paper includes Blackberry Bliss, Pretty in Pink and Berry Burst. And this also, it looks like Timid Tiger and Pumpkin Pie, but I'm going to stick with the pinks, I think, for the time being. So let me grab a stamp. So I'm going to do some of the hearts and some of the presents. I could also do this little flower here. So let me do that. I may or may not use it for my sample, but just want to show you how you could use that. So I'm going to do some in Blackberry Bliss. Let's put that to one side. So I hope you've had a good day. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I can see my camera is rocking slightly, so I hope we're going to be okay. Right, I haven't got any lights on because it does seem quite light in here this evening. So we'll see how we get on. So I'm just going to stamp a few of these across the bottom, and then I'm going to punch some of these out. And I may do them in different colours. I haven't quite decided. And I also haven't decided how many I need. So I've got some of the presents. Let's put those on, that on there. I'll do some with the little hearts. So we've got You're on my mind and In my heart. And I'm just taking this around the edge of the paper. Okay, let's clean that off and change colour. I haven't got my phone with me this evening, so I can't see who's joining us live. So if you have joined us, you'll need to say hi on the messages because I can't see you otherwise. That looks like Nicole. Hi Nicole from the Netherlands. I hope you're well. Okay, so this one says You're on my mind and in my heart again. So I'm just going to do a few of those. And that is in Pretty in Pink. And I'm going to do a few in Berry Burst as well. Very nice to have you join us, Nicole. Thank you. So the stamp set is called Encircled with Love. Let's do one more of those. Probably too many really, but never mind. I can punch them out and the ladies can use them tomorrow at our coffee and card session. So this says sorry underneath the little flower, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to cut that out with a circle punch. Okay, let's start with those and then I can do a few more if I need to. So what I'm going to do is punch out some of these. So this is a 1-inch circle punch that fits that present nicely. Let's do a couple of those. And I've just stamped these, but you could obviously colour in the bows as well if you want to. Let me lift it up because it does look a long way from the camera. So there's the little present. Let's see, and then we've got these little hearts, so they will just fit in there, but I'm going to look for my next punch up, which would be sort of 1 1/4. Let's see if I've got 1 1/8. Sure, I've got 1 1/4 floating around somewhere. The 1 7/8, 1 3/8. Okay, let's have a look and see. I want to make it bigger than the hearts but smaller than the text. So that's a little bit too big. Let me just see. I have got 1 1/8 there. Bigger. It'll be here somewhere. bear with me 1 minute. Let me have a look in my bag. So I got them all out. No, it's being elusive. Okay, let's try the 1 1/8, which is a scallop. So just slightly bigger than that 1 inch. Yeah, that's better. So I want just the hearts. I'm going to have those in a couple of different pinks. And then I've got Berry Burst here. Like so. And obviously you can punch out the whole thing. So this is 1 3/8. Let's have a look. I think that's too small for that one. Yes. So 1 3/4. Let's have a look at that. That will do. So just going to punch that one out, and also the same in this Blackberry Bliss. And of course you can layer these up, so I can use a little something for you and pop this one up on top. And I could even have a layer behind it. So I'm just going to have a play with those basically. I've also got this flower here. Let's see. But I don't want the word sorry. So that will do with the flower, which I can also colour in if I wish. Okay. Let's do this one as well. Okay, if I need any more, I will grab some more. I've got an offcut of Blackberry Bliss, and so for these circle ones here, I can use a Blackberry Bliss backing or a Berry Burst, whatever I want to use for that. Let me see who's joined us. Oh, good morning, Cindy. I hope you're well. Good morning to you. Of course, it's the 22nd for you, isn't it? So I hope you are well. Okay, so this is a 1 1/8 scallop circle. So I'm going to put some of those together, and I'm just using this offcut, but obviously you could cut it from the main piece of card. Shall I add some Berry Burst? Let's have a look. I think it's going to be quite busy. So let me trim this down and see what we're playing with. I think I'll do this in landscape, just for a change. Is it got a right or wrong way? Possibly favours that way. I don't think there's much in it. Let's cut this landscape. So I'm going to cut this to 10 centimetres. No, I'm going to cut it 9.5, just so I've got a little bit of a border, like so. And 13.85, like that. And that is going to go on my Blackberry Bliss layer. and that's going to go onto a white card. I don't know if it has a right or wrong way really. Looks about right, doesn't it? Okay, like so. I'm hoping the light's okay. It seems okay. Right, that's going to go onto a white card. Let's see what we've got with our pieces so far. So, I've got a little present. I've got my little flower, like so. I've got a little something for you, which I'm going to keep, but I'm going to use this doubled up one on top, like so. So it'll just fit in there. Or I might switch that out for the flower. So I've got a bit more of a contrast, that's better. Like so, and then I've got flower, I've got the present, and I've got the hearts. So this one I'm going to put on a bigger circle. So this is 1 7/8. So 1 3/8 of a backing. Not 1 7/8. 1 1/8. I beg your pardon. So that one is going to go on there. Let me lift that up so you can see. Like that so far. Hope you can see that okay. And this could go on a larger circle as well. Really just to make it stand out. So let me see. That's 1 3/4. So 1 7/8 is the size of the punch that comes with this set. So you can put this on and see from the picture how much of a gap you will have, or a margin. Okay. And what I might do is have one of those with the gap so it shows through, which might be this one here. So I've got my sort of double layer here, like that, and then I've got a present, a flower, and little hearts. Now the set that would work particularly well also with this is Choose Happy. Let me have a look if I can reach it. Yes. So this cute little set has got lots of small little elements on. So we've got a sun, we've got a little rabbit, we've got a candle, stars, a little bee, and a little face, a flower. So you could add in, and a penguin. So you could add in any of those if you wanted to add some different elements to it. Okay. So I'm thinking, am I going to keep it there, or am I going to switch this out? So I've got 1, 2, 3 different elements here. This one, which I might do as a peep through from the front of the card. and bear in mind it's got to be relatively easy to get to punch, because I'm using punches today, not any dies. So let's see. I think I want that, I actually want that the same size as the others, I've decided. So let me see what I've got. I've got the hearts here in Berry Burst. Just scouting for my snips. Okay. And obviously what you can do, while I've got that one cut out to show you, is you can take a larger circle, let's say this one for example, and punch that out like that. And use that in its own right. And you can do that obviously with multiple circles. Right, just going to cut across here. What I want are the hearts, but I actually want them smaller. I've decided I'm going to keep these the same, so the tiny little stars are just on the edge. And then I'm going to cut out, so I've got 3 different ones there. And I might change that to a candle or something, so it becomes a birthday card. So let's punch out another one of those. So I'm just using the punches I've got. I'm afraid some of these have retired, but most of us have got punches or dies. I mean, they can be any shape. They don't have to be all circular. So that's going to go on there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, like that. And then I'm going to make this one go through, and let's grab that choose happy and stamp, whoops, there goes my camera, this little candle. I'm hoping that's going to fit in there. Just so I've got something different. Just think it will. So let's move the stamp sets out of the way. And grab that little candle. I'm going to stamp that in Blackberry Bliss. It's quite small, but I want it to stand out, and I probably will colour it in with my blends pen. So just stamp it in this bit here. I was wondering if I'd get 3 of them in there. I don't think so. Let's have a look and see. There we go. Okay, so that's actually going to go on there with another backing around it, which will be this one. Like so. So I've got 3 there and 1 there. Now normally I would go, it would need to be in odd numbers, but I think because those 3 are the same, they work as odd numbers together. If I lift this up, you can see like so. Okay. If I think I need something else, I've got an open little heart I could use. Move these up. Yeah, I think it's too busy that way. So I'm going to go with that. So let's just pop these layers together. Whoops. More glue came out of there than I expected. Okay, there's one. And I could add Wink of Stella to this. I could add a little bit more colour. I could colour in the bow. I could colour in the flower. There's the hearts. Is that one? And the nice thing about circles is you can just turn them around to get them straight. Right, 1, 2, 3. These two I'm going to layer together, like so, and pop up on dimensionals. I hope I'm still on your screens in the right place. I'll move my camera this evening, rightly or wrongly. Okay, that's going to go onto there. Like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these two layers together and punch a circle out of that. Place that on my card and punch a circle out of that. So let's glue these two first. It's a very versatile little set because it, as I say, does have sentiments, but also the little images inside. And if you've got anything with small images, small flowers, a small alphabet, for example, that would also work. Okay, so I need to be able to make a slot for this, and I'm going to use a punch to do it. Let's see what size I need. So that is about 1 7/8. So the next size up would be 2 inches. Just going to have a look and see. Yeah, it just gives me a small border. So I know that I'm going to come in from one side, but I also know that I'm going to place this onto a white card, which is going to have a little bit more of a margin. So what I don't want to do is push this all the way in and line it up, because I won't be able to reach the same slot on the card. So I'm just going to bring it out a little bit, just by eye. Nothing more than that. And I'm just looking at that line across there. Hopefully that's going to work. Okay. So the way that this is going to go on my card is that's going to go in there. And it's going to have a little bit more of a border behind it. And then these elements are going to go on the front. 1, 2, 3, and then that's going to go on the top. So let's grab a card. So this will be a landscape card opening on the side. No, not that one. that one. I might have to cut another one. We've obviously used all of those up, I think, maybe. Yes. Okay, let's cut another one. Which is a reminder that I'll need to do some more ready for tomorrow. For our coffee and card in Brackley. Okay, so I might as well cut two at the same time. So 14.85 is my score line. That's in centimetres. I'm going to cut that at 10.5 centimetres. Like so. That to one side. So what I'm going to do is punch a hole in my card. Now, I didn't put this on to punch all of the holes because I knew that 2 layers of thick card and a layer of designer paper would probably be too much for my punch. So what I'm going to do is place that on there and then use a pencil here just to mark where that circle is going to go. The other way I do it if I'm in a hurry is I glue that down first and then line up the punch over there. And I could make this slightly bigger if I wanted to. So I've got a white, I'll have this and that and then a white portion, which I might do. Or I might not. I don't know. Right, let me see. So the one that I cut out was 2 inches, so I need to go up from there. So I've got 2 1/4, I've got 2 1/2. This is 2 1/4. I want it bigger. No, it can be the same, can't it? What am I talking about? It needs to be the same. Okay, engage brain, Jenny. Right, so this is 2 inches, so I'm lining it up to there. Bear in mind that my pencil line will be slightly inside of my circle, which is perfect because I'm going to punch it out. And then that's going to fit on there nicely in line with my card. Like so. Hope that makes some sense. Okay, let's pop that down then. Like so. And just make sure I've got enough around this aperture as well, so it doesn't peel away from the centerpiece. Okay, so I'm going to position that on there, and hopefully that should be nicely balanced. Okay, just give that a minute. There we go. And so my piece that's going to go in here, alright, I'm going to have my little candle on, and I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. Which I just need to locate again. I don't know why they just disappear. Okay, here they are. So this piece is going to go onto there. Let me know if the light isn't working well enough for you. It looks okay for me, but I'm not looking at it through the phone, so don't always get the same image. So here's my little candle going in the middle, like so. And I will colour that in with some pinks and a little bit of yellow for the flame. I can reach my bits and pieces. Okay, let's do a little yellow flame because that will pick up the yellow in the paper. So, and then we've got an assortment of pinks on there. They've got pretty in pink. Like so, and I could do with a berry burst if I could see one. It's close enough. There we go. And I'll add a wink of celery to that to give it a little bit of interest. So this is going to go through that slot there, and I deliberately made that a little bit bigger than this piece here. So what I'm going to do is put some glue on the reverse. That gives me a bit of time to move it if I need to. Keep that closed. Place it in the middle, like so. So I've got a nice little margin all the way around. So I've got white, black ribbliss and white again through there. So that's going to be our inside. Hopefully you can see that okay. Let me just move my screen slightly. That's it. And then I've got my other three pieces here that I'm going to add. So let's add some pale pink ribbon onto here. Like so. Whoops. And these I'm going to put on flat. Should get the right bit of that ribbon. So I've got a ribbon, I've got my little flower, yeah, and then my little hearts, and I'm just going to add some stripe to that so it matches the ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 of those. As I say, normally I would look for doing odd numbers, but because that's a different size, I think I can get away with it, she says, hopefully. So 1, 2, 3 like that. Maybe I'll put them up one dimensionals actually, because they look a bit flat otherwise. And then I can add a little bit of bling, and what I might do is make sure these are completely offset. So I could add some bling and some wink of Stella. Give them a little bit of glimmer. That one and that there. So if you've got any small stamps, you can use those in the center of these little sentiments. So you've got "You're on my mind and in my heart" and "A little something for you," as well as the other sentiments that say "with love," for example, and "thanks." Let's pop those hearts on like that. I sort of want them deliberately at different positions. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So I hope you like it. That's the inside. So we've got a, that's lifted up on dimensional, so it says "A little something for you." Hopefully you can see that. It's always difficult when it's at an angle to the camera. With my little candle from Choose Happy, and then these 3 elements have come out from the stamped images, which are these ones here. Let me just show you those for anybody who missed the beginning. So I punched out the present, the little hearts, and the little flower. You could also carefully punch out happy birthday wishes. The way to go, you can make smaller if you wanted to, so any of those really. I probably wouldn't do it with the "with love" or the "thank you," because I wouldn't want to cut off the other elements that sort of make that really rather sweet. So there we go. It's called "Encircled in Love," with love. Encircled with love. It's from our annual catalogue, and the stamp set is £19, I believe. It is indeed. And you can find that in the annual catalogue, along with the 1 7/8 of an inch circle punch that will fit all of these with either a larger or a smaller margin. But if you've got a die cutting machine, you might choose to buy, for example, the Stylish Shapes, which will give you a lot more different shapes and stitched edges. I think there's 6 different circles in there. But if you've got punches, then you could certainly use those. And what I challenged one of our attendees to do on Tuesday was to use up all the circles that we punched out. And you can see that card that Scott made on our Facebook page. If you look for the reel that was produced on Wednesday, you'll see his one. He did a great job with all of the circles layered over together. So thank you so much. There is our finished card. I will add a little bit of bling, but hopefully you can see that okay. And it's got that aperture there with the little candle. Thank you so much, everyone. Do take care. We'll be back on Monday morning with a new stamp set of the week for next week. And just a reminder, we have our in colour sale on for this month. So any of our 2025 to 2027 in colours are on offer at 15% off. And that includes the cardstock, the ink pads, the blends pens. The markers are on special offer, because if you hadn't received my email, you'll know that our Stamp and Write markers, these are the ones that we use on the cling stamps, they are all being discontinued. So as from yesterday, they're all on special offer while stocks last. Thank you so much. Do take care. I look forward to catching up with you next week. Have a great weekend, and I really appreciate you being with me today. Bye for now. Happy crafting.